Welcome to the ripple effect of love for dads and families. Episode 32 today. Identify one expectation. We all have expectations, and it's kind of normal. We're raised in these expectations. However, sometimes they can cause us much pain and hardship. And I see I forgot to mute my phone, so I'm going to do that right away. There we go. And be there for you 100%. Now let's take a nice deep breath in, relax our shoulders, and exhale. Sometimes we have expectations for our loved ones, our kiddos going to school, how they behave, how they don't behave, expectations towards what we want them to do. We all want our kids to succeed. Is our way of doing it, of imposing our expectations on them, the best way? Here's an example of something that really marked me when my kids were teenagers, getting into the teen years anyway. There was this lady in the community who had a daughter who was going to school in Quebec City. And she was so nervous, so anxious. She missed her daughter, blah, and on, which is normal to miss our kids when they move out. However, to please her mom, she moved back home and traveled 30 minutes to the university closest to her mom's place in Lennoxville. Well, within, I think it was about 3 months of moving back in with her mom, she had a car accident on the way to school. So this marked me a lot, and it made me question, are my expectations towards my children, are they too intense, not intense enough? Because sometimes our desire to help our children, the expectations we put on them, or the unsaid expectations, can feel them really crushed, or they might start losing their self-confidence. And that's definitely not what we want. So, how do we recognize these expectations that we have with our kids? So we can recognize them by seeing how we are if they do something. If you say, okay, you need to go to school, they're going to school and they're coming back grumpy and blah blah blah. Our expectation is that they go to school and perform and be successful. But if that's not happening, what do we do? Right? Do we need to shift our expectation? What is it that needs to happen? So by looking and evaluating these expectations that we have, sometimes we have expectations towards ourselves to be perfect. Talking about me here, number one, I was raised in an environment where perfection was expected. And it wasn't necessarily said, you need to be perfect, Christine. It was the kind of thing that, so I'll share this crazy story. To me, it's crazy and insane in a way. Lived on a farm, and on a farm, when you grow alfalfa, you do not want the weeds to take over your alfalfa field. So because the dairy cows need the high quality of the alfalfa. So my dad decided it had grown too high, too quick, and he hadn't noticed the field. And he sent me and my siblings and an employee to weed the field. Can you imagine? So mustard plants, I know exactly what they look like, and I never want to see another one. But that type of perfectionism can cause our brain to register information the wrong way and to be in overwhelm all the time because we expect ourselves to be perfect. So let's just snap, breathe in, tap. We can start with an expectation that you have towards yourself. Let's start with that because we started this whole series with self love and the expectations that we have towards ourselves is what our children will pick up. And even though, and I know you're interested in the ripple effect of love spreading throughout your family. There are different routes to take to do it. And are you giving yourself enough love? And this message is more for me than anybody else today. And I know this and I'm sharing it. Hey, I'm transparent. I am a human being like everyone else. I have my ups and downs, even though I'm a stress management coach. And again, I forgot to say my name. My name's Christine Bernard. There you go. Did it. As I tap, my brain, my survival mode calms down, and then I can say more what I want and what it is that I'd like to share with you. So, your expectation towards yourself. What's one expectation towards yourself that you would like to just shift or bring it down a notch? For example, perfectionism. Some people might say, well, it's important to do things well, but there's a huge distinction between doing it well and being perfect, right? So when you are doing it well, you're looking at the aspects. Yes, yes, this looks good. I check this, I check this, I check that, I check that. Excellent. Let's go with the project. A perfectionist will keep going and going and going and won't be able to stop, won't be able to bring the project forward because it's just not perfect enough. And if this speaks to you, then you might want to tone down the perfectionism and have this new mantra, which I use: perfect is the new done. For some people, this is important. To them, it may not seem good enough, but somebody who just does step 1 and 2 and starts the project, they might need to move it up a little bit, maybe not. It really depends on who you are and where you're at. So, what is something else? What's another type of a expectation that you might want to tone down so that you have less disappointment and show yourself more self love? I don't know. The one coming up to my mind right now is being on time. For some of us, being on time is very important. For others, they don't care. I'll be there. They can be there 2 hours later. They can be there, whenever. I can remember that even as an adult, I had understood that if I wanted my dad to give me a ride to the train station, I needed to say the train leaves at 10 a.m. so that I would be there for 11:30 to take the 12 o'clock train. Yep, that was the way it was. I learned to play his game in order to be there on time because otherwise I would have missed my train. And that would have caused a lot of disappointment in myself. Sometimes we just need to do this. It's not that we want to lie to people, but it's that we want to get there. So let's take another nice deep breath in. Relax the shoulders and exhale. So, what is your expectation that you would like to tone down? Or some people need to be on time and they arrive 2 hours early just to make sure, in case there was an accident on the road, in case there's this and that. Relax the shoulders. I have found that for things like that, if I listen to my inner wisdom, I will be able to kind of gauge if I need to leave early or not. Something that you can develop as you practice this, toning down the fear, the rational, everything you've been taught, told, and then just tuning into you. How does it feel? Does it feel like it's important to leave now? I can be working and all of a sudden I get this feeling I've got to go now. And I get up, I pick up everything, and I go out the door. And hold and behold, there was something that slowed me down on the way. Or sometimes I forget about time, but I'm all most of the time on time. I do not like to arrive late for appointments because I value the other person's time. So, what is it? What is the expectation that you would like to tone down today? And we've got Christian Mendez who's ready to hop on and
The
share.
stuff that's going on. We'll help you out.
Oh, hello,
Oh yeah,
Christian.
yeah. Happens for a
Welcome.
reason. Talk to you soon.
Okay, not quite. There you go. So you didn't hear my question. My question was, what's one expectation that you would like to tone down to support you in your vision? And your vision was understanding and communicating more effectively with your family, I
So
believe.
thank you, everybody. Whoop whoop. I hope
Yep.
everybody can hear me. Happy day. So I've been really growing and doing some phenomenal things because I'm choosing to
Mhm.
control and manage, but I also want I I'm challenging myself because I love challenging myself to not just be a better man, but to group ourselves with better men and to be a better world. One thing that I want to share is you are loved unconditionally for who you are.
Yes.
That, my friends, and those that don't are not my friends yet, and those that may dislike something, I'm going to give you a quick theme that I've been exploring since days now that has
Hmm.
come full circle, and we make changes 360 here with Christine and Christian. Full 360 is an understanding that when somebody says something, you don't have to respond. Just
Hmm. You don't have to respond. you can you can self-regulate instead, right?
and then you can walk away. Like,
Walk
wait,
away.
wait.
Yep.
So I told you I've been pondering this, okay? This is legal. So those folks that like to do and knowledge and all of that, listen, go for it. Crimes of passion. Why are crimes of passions less consequential or whatnot? Okay. Because crimes of passions can happen in a spur of the moment.
Yep.
And somebody walks in and it's a crime of passion. And we're not going to get into specifics or details. I'm just telling you, look up crimes of passion when and the severities and the punishments for those. Self defense, for example, you are being attacked. The law provides most laws. Well, I know we're around the world, so let me just say, most laws give you an opportunity to defend yourself because in the spur of the moment, you got to do something.
Yeah.
Huh? So if we understand legal scholars, courts, and all that, yes, I know we're not going to get into all of that stuff because they can be just as ignorant as us when it comes to emotional management. So that's the second thing. Nobody, there's nobody that's going to understand you better than you understand yourself. And the more that you self-regulate, the more that you take time, the more that you get in tuned. We say, I march to a different beat of my own drum. That's phenomenal, man.
Yes.
So we encourage that. And if you say, you know what, find your own beat, find your own path. But you know what, even if you don't, if you just pause and realize, because it was really apparent to me, just and it's becoming apparent to me throughout every choice, and I guess that's the beautiful part about it.
Hmm.
You literally get to put on this superhero, this cloak, this extra tool, this extra ear, this extra eye, this extra hand, whatever it is that you can literally morph it to whatever it is that you need or want at that moment.
Yeah.
But overall, the biggest thing that I want to say is you are loved for
Hmm.
who
Yeah.
you are. Not for what you can do, not for what you've done, not what you can accomplish, not what you have accomplished,
Hmm.
for who you are.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, if you were going to jump in,
And and if you don't feel that way, you're not
that's okay.
hanging with the right people. Find
That's
a new
okay.
crowd where you can feel loved for who you are deep down with your friends as well, with your loved ones as well.
And
Right?
if you don't have that, and if you're more of a single type of person, a kind of lone wolf type of person. She's all about the themes and all of the structure. So I'm just going to say this. If you like to keep to yourself a little bit more, you're still
Hmm.
loved. You are
Well,
loved for
yes.
who you are. Yeah, you are loved for who you are and unconditionally. Now we say,
Hmm.
well, what does that even? Wait. You're asking me to first love myself. So let's just take a breath because right now, if you're saying I can't, then Christina's gonna snap, tap, zap, and I'm gonna
Yep.
join. I'm gonna join, but as I'm joining, I want you to snap, tap, zap because I want to show you something that as those that can identify with what we just said is self-sufficient where you are understanding that you make your own decisions about whatever it is that comes up,
Hmm.
gets emailed, gets shouted out, get
Yes.
tugged on, mama, 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 mama,
Yes.
mama, or spouse, hey, I need, hey, we, or anything.
Yeah.
So as I'm going and as we're tapping and as we're, please understand that it makes a real difference. It
It
really
does.
does.
It really, really does. Yeah.
And you say, well, I'm just not there. I just, all I feel is just tapping and my thoughts racing. Congratulations. You've now realized what you've been subconsciously feeling this whole time. Wow, isn't that awesome?
You know?
This is how your brain's been working the whole time. So, congratulations.
Yes, and that awareness when we see our brains and we're like, I don't want to see that. It's crazy. It's driving me insane. Go out in nature. It'll help. Snap, tap, zap around the ears like this really, really helps calm down the monkey mind, the hamster wheel, whatever you want to call it, to just be present with
Being present
yourself.
for yourself. Be
Yeah.
present for yourself. And when you hear, Christine just mentioned, get a new group of friends or get a new group of, so I'm going to say, get a new group of you.
Oh, yes, of course. First of all, yes, because you need
But
to love yourself first before
yes,
you attract
yes,
the right
yes,
people towards
yes,
you. And
yes.
that is my life experience. I can guarantee you that I have attracted narcissistic people, manipulative people, and on the list goes of toxic people. And
Pause, pause, pause.
yes,
That may be our parents. That may be our
Mm,
brothers. That may be our
yes,
family. That may be
yes,
our teachers. That may be our reverends. That may be our spouses. That may be,
yes,
and I had to jump in with the labels because I don't want your brain. And yes, the way that our brains work is you put in a thought and then output is going to be something. So it's not us
yes,
giving you direction, but us kind of guiding you, or she's guiding you. I'm just here for commentary, right? A lot of you remember the old Blu-ray. You could put it on commentary as you're watching the movie, and there's this commentary that sometimes gets annoying, but boy, it is intriguing. So remember, she's the pro. I'm just the commentator, and I just kind of give you a little bit of a glimpse of what these types of things may look like in your life. And just like we said, well, wait a minute, my
yeah,
mom is, my mom,
yeah.
yeah, I'm sorry. And I'm not saying she is either. And I'm not telling you to go and blame or put tags or labels.
And it
That's for
doesn't
you.
mean if there's a part of your mom that's that way, that she's all that way. She's also loving. She's also. But what
Because
I
the day has 24 hours, the week has 7 days, the month has 30 or some odd days. Everything is a component.
exactly. And what I have found is how we reply to these people that makes the huge difference.
Puzzle pieces, right? We're puzzle pieces.
Yes.
And sometimes your
Yes.
mom goes, yep, that one fits. Pop. That one, I said that one fits. No, no, no. I want you guys to understand. But you see it as, oh, mom's being loving, she's being supportive. Heck, she even gave us some energy. And you as a child, you as a whatever, where you are, we're talking about these types of things, you're going like, okay, that's how it's done. Why? Monkey see, monkey do. I love the monkey brains, and I love the
Yes,
monkey brains,
yes.
and
Monkey
yeah.
see,
So
monkey
I
do. And
I
that's
love
the
that.
children's brain from 0 to 7. It's really 100% monkey see, monkey do. We have some children that will express themselves violently or not violently. It's not the right word. It's in them to, they have
Lively. I say
lively.
lively. I
Yes,
say
they have
lively.
they're alive and they're living life and they're experiencing life and it's beautiful.
Enthusiastically. Yes,
Enthusiastic.
enthusiastically.
And it's beautiful. It's our responsibility to learn how to navigate that with them so that they stay that beautiful child and we don't stifle them like we were
So
stifled maybe.
see that right there.
Hmm.
When we were most when we were younger, I want to. I can't wait. I don't want to. You tell me what to do. I want to be. I'm gonna. I can't wait to be an adult. And then you're an adult. And you're like, oh, can I go play crayons? Can we go play Doh? Just goofing off. Well, no. But please understand this. Now you're a parent. Those
Hmm.
that do, or an adult, and around anyone,
Hmm.
and you say, you got to behave. Wait a minute. You, as the parent, were the display for 0 to 5. You were the beacon. They saw you puzzle. That's how it fits. Or phone. Or, honey, why do you. So they have been, and we talked about this program, right? And they are programmed. So now they're reflecting how you speak.
Yes.
Oh, not to everybody. Oh, they know that you don't speak to everybody that way. That's why they also don't speak and they don't act like that towards you all the time. It's
Mhm.
only when we face a bad trait that we modeled for them and now they're doing it. And before, I'll give you a great example. When kids would hit or do bad things, 6 months old and he's hitting or he's this.
Yeah. We're
They
encouraging them.
feel and understand and encouraged. And as they go
Yeah.
on and on, you've never said, hey, no hitting. That's not, and had that conversation and had that explanation.
Mhm.
So I don't want to get too tangent, but we're going to stick on this whole thing. A lot of you folks have, if you're on social media, you've seen where the parent takes the other parent in front of a baby and feed is going to feed the parent. Okay, so one adult to another adult, and the other adult that is getting fed goes mm-mm. So the parent feeding goes bah, smacks the dad or smacks the receiving end, and the kid's like,
Oh,
and then he opens up, then they eat. Okay, then they take out this smile. Good job, good job. Now the parent that's feeding goes into the baby and offers the food. The child goes, wait a minute. And again, if you think they're not that smart, if you
oh,
hey, Christian,
smart.
you ought to be kidding me. They're not gonna, they can't comprehend. Oh boy, they can. That's why you're at the age that you're at dealing with, because you, my good friend, are very brilliant and have so much of this in you, and you've passed it on already. And now that you've wanting to better yourself, when you see those hints coming out, you're going, it's not okay. But then we let that back, whoo, jump all to the front and go, that's the because we're so upset at ourselves
Yeah,
that we taught them. And now they're revealing that. But they're revealing that to us, not even to their friends. So now you're going, treason.
yeah,
You're treating me that wait, they're treating you the same way that you treat them and others when
yeah,
you're comfortable enough to
yeah.
act that way.
Yes, yes, yeah.
That was heavy. That was a lot. As
It
I
was,
mentioned,
but it was perfect.
well,
It
that's
just
that's
needed
that's
to
what I
be
was going to
said,
end it
right?
out with. That's what I was going to
Yeah.
end it out with. Regardless of what you do,
Mm,
regardless of what you do, if you feel better and you're able to speak or regulate or write or anything, you've done it right. That's that's the whole emphasis of this. It's just for you to just take some seconds to yourself. Everything else and everything that I just mentioned and correlated and connected the dots were because of a wonderful friend, but because of self-regulation. And it started with the ABCs.
yes.
Go back to that.
Yeah.
Remember yourself, because that's how you're going to innately and intuitively act the kindness, the loving, the supportive, the everything you want to be. And when those things come up from the past, you are already enacting that with everything else, that you're also going to reenact that with yourself and
Mm,
understand that it's only a piece, but you're going to place that piece and you go, I don't like where that piece fell. That's okay. I can pick that piece up and maybe just hold on to it before I choose to put it in the puzzle or even discard it.
yes. Because there's a better piece that'll fit in even better. And you said something quite a few minutes ago was this good and bad. And we have this, we are raised with these words: you're good, you're bad, do this, you're good, do this, you're bad. Well, then there's this expectation of good and bad that's in us, and there's this expectation of expressing things in good and bad. So, what if we expressed it in, wait a minute, this does not suit me? I don't feel good in this, or this makes me feel sad, this makes me feel mad. So, therefore, something needs to shift. By identifying the emotion that we are feeling, instead of saying, what you did is wrong, what you did is good, nothing. Who am I to judge what you did, if it was right or if it was wrong? It's none of my business to judge others whether it's good or wrong. However, it's my responsibility to ask, how did you feel when this happened? How did it make you feel? Do you want to live this experience again? No? Yes? Okay, if it's yes, keep doing the same thing. You're going to get the same result. But if you want to live the experience differently, what can you shift? because it's your responsibility to shift. I was telling this story earlier that if I wanted my dad to bring me to the train station on time and the train was at 12, I had to tell him the train was at 10 in the morning so that I would arrive at 11:30ish so that I had enough time to buy my ticket and get on the train. I shifted instead of being angry and upset with my dad. I knew who he was and how he was unable to be on time. Like it was beyond his abilities. But he was a perfectionist in other things, right? But not for time. And that's who he was. But I did not learn to do this until I was a mature adult, right?
See, let me just say two things here because you just mentioned your dad and something that was in a group because it wasn't one time that it happened. And there was this is something that I wanted to equate and please understand how loving but
Mm-hmm.
wrong. Yes, I said she is wrong because she used to justify why she said we don't need a judge, but she justified her dad's inability, and that's
Oh, I
okay,
did.
to
Oh,
track time. And
yes.
there was there may very well be phenomenal again or some conditions or information that we cannot. So this is why I said it. So people would think, well, if your dad really wanted you on that train, he would have made sure. Maybe that was it. Maybe it was something that hurt his heart, or maybe something that delayed. Maybe he was like me. He keep track of time. Forget it. Hey, 5 minutes, okay? And I'm like, okay. And then I dig in, and then I wake up, and I'm sorry. Oh, and I look up, and they're like, hey, turn it off. It's 2 a.m. And I'm like, oh, you said 5 minutes. Oh yeah, that was at like five. That was at like 9 p.m. So when I get zoned, but I'm not rude. So then you say, well, that's not a that wait, that's not a good excuse, Christian. She's right too. So again, I just say these things. Maybe it was something that hurt him on the way to the train station, or something that's traumatic for dad at the train station. I'm giving you these things because now we go, oh well, now that might be something.
I
I'm
know
just
it
saying
could
it
be those things.
changes. Yeah.
It
It,
could be these things, and it could have been. However, for anything, my dad was late. Even when I was a little kid to get to go to swimming lessons, he'd forget it was his turn to drive, and he'd arrive 2 hours after the swimming lessons were over. And then it was just the way he was. So I had learned that if I told him the train leaves at 10, and then reminded him we've got to go, and at 9:30 we've got to go soon. Okay, I just need to finish this. Okay, so he would finish that, and then I'd come back at 10 and say, okay, it's we really need to go, dad, please, can we go? Yeah, 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 yeah. And eventually, and that's why I knew it just took this 2-hour frame for him to be ready. I had learned that from who he was. Did I like that about him? No, I didn't like it, but it was who he was. And I know that sometimes I have this habit too where, okay, just 5 minutes, and then half an hour has gone by. And whoop, I missed a call. It rarely happens because I put timers now, right? I have found solutions to help me.
second problem that was taught. She
Mhm.
said, I learned. Okay, first is
Yeah.
expectations. If I expect to, oh, she could have said every time, another dude. Now I'm gonna have to get up. Now I'm gonna argue with dad. She could have said, came in and go, hey, all right, listen. And some of us are raised differently. Hey, I'm not doing this. Hurry up. Come on, dad. Come on, dad. I'm not doing this. It's 10 o'clock. I'm telling you right now, or we're leaving at 10 o'clock. It's 9:30. She could have approached it differently. She could have approached it demanding. She could have approached it in a
Yes.
aggressive or a confrontational.
Yes.
But let's again think about what she said. That is teaching her. kind of being mellow. Finish your things, complete some stuff, trying to get things done. Time kind of passes. You'll get there, you won't. Kind of easy flow, go with the flow type of thing.
Mhm.
She learned that from
Yeah.
actions, living, and ongoings. Then she later on found out, hey, this doesn't feel too good because being late to certain things kind of, I just don't like how it feels. I'm going to go back to and
Yeah.
say that's because you were taught the way that you were taught. So if
Mhm.
you have a valid reason, now say, well, Christian, you have to respect people's times. Absolutely. But if there's something that is out of the ordinary, and anyways, we're not going to get into
Yeah, it'll happen
scenarios.
once in a while that it'll be out of the ordinary and something will happen. Yes. But if you are regularly late, find tools, find ways to get yourself there on time. As a professional, if you hire a coach and the coach doesn't show up, that is not going to work, is it? So so I have these little alarms that I put on, ding ding ding. Oh, okay, cool. And it's a gentle alarm. Ding 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 ding. Oh yeah, I have time to finish my sentence and I can go live. I could show up at 3 p.m. I've gone to a doctor once where I showed up. It was an 8:30 appointment. She saw me at 6:30 p.m. I was dying of hunger, of thirst, of, oh, she'll be right there. She was a research doctor. She was able to identify some of my issues. Yes. However, to wait all day to see a doctor because she did not, uh, whatever her, I mean, yes, she was doing research. Yes, there were things happening. But in my opinion today, I still would say she did not respect my time. And the waiting room was, everybody in the waiting room was there. You had to stand in the waiting room, okay, because there was no more room to sit. And this was a private doctor, and people still went to see her because she was really good. However, it's always nicer, right? And I want to treat others the way I would like to be treated. And that's
There's
why
the gold rule.
I chose
There's
to
the golden
find
rule.
ways for me, even though I'm distracted, it's okay. I got a little buzzer and it just says, "Hey, Christine." And that's
There's
it.
the gold. There's the gold. There's the gold nugget. Why? Why
Yeah.
do all this? Why do?
Yeah.
Because it will genuinely change your world.
Yes.
You will change your whole world, own and whole put together, because you regain that control and the management of yourself first, and then what people say to you. So then you got your reaction under your control, and
Mhm.
then you're making your decisions on how people, what they're saying are going to affect you or how it's going to affect you. So everybody's throwing stones, and you're going like everything is blocking because you're so in your zone and you're so busy making yourself feel happy, making your parents understand that, hey, they may be imperfect and you may be imperfect, but this is the world and the scenario and the situation where you want to live is in a peaceful, communicative,
Yes.
understanding world,
Yeah.
instead of what do I say to this guy. No, it's how is he or she feeling that way. Why are
Mhm.
they feeling that way? And again, this is just where I'm at. And I'm going, oh,
Yeah.
wow, there must be circumstances or traumas
Yeah.
that they're really, oh man, they're really sharing with me. So the best thing I can do is just listen and understand. I don't agree with anything that they've said because they're telling me I can't eat healthy. I just chips are too tasteful, this and that. And I'm just, I
Mhm.
don't agree, and you don't have to agree again. And I go,
And we have to wrap it up because it's 1:41.
we're done. We are definitely done. But that's the whole
Yeah.
thing is I want to make sure that you guys understand why all of this. because it truly gives you back your experience and the control of your life and everything around you, because
Yeah.
you're setting yourself out to an expectancy of what you want to, because that is what you're vibing at. That is how you're flowing.
Yes, you are vibing at, because now my vibrational level is not in the complaining compartment most of the time. I do go have setbacks, but I am attracting specialists that are vibing at the same level as I am. So then I can get the support I need. So thank you so much, Kristen. Thank you so much, everyone. Hope you got lots of value from this. Hope you're able to release some of those expectations so that you can show yourself more self love and be connected even more to your heart, to your inner wisdom. And let's just treat others the way we want to be treated. Take care. See you tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern Time, for another episode, which will be episode 30.